It's Wednesday, August 24th, 8 a.m. Roll call. Alderman Brian Johnson. Alex Zacharias, it's myself. Kent Hutchinson. And Katie
Here.
Reed. Liaison representatives. Beth Kalowski.
Present.
Gabriel Metaxen. Rizal Piquero Almante. Timothy Perlitz.
Here.
Perfect. Approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda for the August 24th, 2022 meeting of the Green Bay Public Arts Commission.
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those that approve, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? So moved. Approval of the minutes from the May 26, 2022 meeting of the Green Bay Public Arts Commission.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those that approve?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, regular business. Consideration with possible action to review and approve the 4 mural design concept presented for the Shipyard Underpass Murals project. Is that you, Laura?
That is me.
All right.
So this project has been long in the making. Back in December of 21, you guys had approved the call for art for this project, which then actually had to be kind of reworked and sent through the city's bidding process. We released the call in March of this year and held it open until May. And then from that, we received 16 eligible proposals. And out of those 16, we collaborated and combined a selection committee composed of various artistic experts and other parties who are very qualified to make these decisions. From the 16, they reviewed all of the criteria that was presented in the RFP, which is included in the agenda packet. And from the 16 proposals, they have narrowed it down to 4 artists who are actually here with us this morning. We have Don Rimmix, Ernesto Marenge, Ms. Ikar, and Yulia Augustinovich. I apologize for any names that I have murdered. So
Welcome.
once all of the artists were selected, staff met with them and kind of gave them the rundown on where the project status is currently, the anticipated timeline of the project, laying out the site. It's a very unique site. There's 21 pillars that we're looking at enhancing. There's a lot more actually located within the site, but we're focusing our energy on these 21 pillars. There is a site plan that has been included in the agenda packet too, which is what all 4 artists, we met and kind of worked out how to best lay out that site plan for their designs. So they're on board with the site plan and have developed their designs based on the spaces that they will be allocated in that site. And basically, they are here this morning to present their designs, which are included in the agenda packet, along with resumes and previous artwork examples. And from today's meeting, I really need your guys' approval of the designs so that we can continue the project forward. Following your approval, it'll get sent to council. Council will approve it. And then from there, DPW will take all of our approvals and share that with WSDOT, Wisconsin Department of Transportation. They are actually the property owners of these pillars. So we need to get their final permission before we can actually move forward with artist contracts and site preparation and all of that good stuff.
Sounds
That
easy,
being
Laura.
Yeah, just simple little steps. But how do you eat an elephant? Take it one bite at a time.
Right.
So all in all of these approvals and everything else, we're hoping to get that secured throughout the month of September. potentially earlier, depending on how quickly the state moves. But then following that, we are anticipating project start in October. So that is kind of a overview of where we were, kind of where we are now, and the next steps forward. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Otherwise, we do have the artists here, and we could open up the floor to speak with them. But if we have any questions or anything first, we can clear those up.
Any questions before we open it up?
Welcome, everybody. I'll make a motion to open the floor.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's open up the floor. Do all approve?
Aye.
Okay.
With the floor open, for our artist visitors and anyone else from the public who would like to speak, if you can say your name and address for the record, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Laura, do you want to like maybe offer up like an order or something like that?
Yeah, I have, it's just kind of alphabetical how I put you guys in order, so don't look too deeply into it, but I believe Don's designs are the first one in order. So Don, if you would like to kind of kick things off, no pressure.
Hi everybody. I'm super excited about this project. We've been working really hard in order to, to create a piece that, can add to this beautiful beautification in this part of the town. So I wanna take a second so I can show you guys our vision. Kesia, can you?
Do you want us to share our screens to show our proposals, or Laura, or are you going to be doing that on your end?
I can share the screen as far as what you had sent. It's included in the packet, so I can share the packet.
Great.
And if you can just say your address really quick, that'd be great. But I will get the screen set up to share your proposal.
Hi, our addresses of where we live. Oh, okay.
It's-
Yes.
Yes, it's sure.
Okay, I'm Cassia Ramos. This is Don Rymix. We're at 3010 Port Royal Drive, Orlando, Florida, 32827.
Thank you. ¿Y qué son cubanos o boricuas?
Puertorriqueño.
Boricua.
Ah, yo soy de Vieques.
Ah, qué chévere.
That's wonderful.
Envié que pinté en La Esperanza.
Hi, Katie. Good to see you.
Can you all see
Yep,
the screen?
thank you.
We can see.
Beautiful.
So Don named this mural Dream Bay. Do you want to give a little bit of a reason why? Okay. So Dream Bay reflects the goals of bridges and the power they hold to unite and connect us. It's an opportunity to share ideas created by the imagination, which transport us to experience different cultures, achieve new goals, and continue creating our paths. On the next slide, we will, row that we're in, we're row one, and the front design, and Don Rymix will go into detail.
So for this piece, I was inspired by the site, by the bridge, because for me, bridges has a lot of mean about the connection about each other, connecting me with you, but also trying to connect the community in one piece. That's why, I'm trying with this interesting site, because we have 4 columns, but we also request to do, the top part in order, so I can build an image that it can jump from one pillar to the other pillar, and you guys can go and goes around the whole piece. I'm using a reference also of people in this case, but the people is like kind of in fragmented, because I want to show the beauty of the inside of the people and how that energy, it goes all around the space. That's why, I start like putting these different colors, because I believe, each of us have a different kind of energy, and that's why the different kind of colors means, and how those colors, intertwine in the space, and how it makes harmony in the whole picture. Also, I'm bringing organic elements like flowers, or flora, that I was researching, around there, like, but I picked the one, it was like como es, que crecen donde sea.
Weeds?
Yeah, como que, because they are resilient, like even when the toughest,
Like they break through
times,
concrete.
the toughest time of bringing the
Right.
beauty, and bring us, that happiness. Also, the colors. I was looking for something that, it can contrast the colors already in the environment. So under the bridge, we see a lot of the concrete, so I want to do something, like it takes you away a little bit of that, and it bring you to a new space. If we go to the other side, can you?
And Laura's doing it.
Okay. So we can see like two people connecting through the brains, through the ideas, to feelings, to experience, how knowledge it brings us together. So for me, it's important, and how we make something different than something each of us, like human beings, but each of us are really unique. So I wanna try to explore that a little bit. And then for the last column, this one, I was making the connection between us and the nature, and this is gonna be the pillar that is gonna be in collaborative with the other artists. So I wanna do something, they can, can add something to, like a little storytelling with the other artists. So that's why, I bring the profile of the girl, the pelican, because we're in a bay.
I love it. I think y'all did a fantastic job providing a narrative. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like how you included the fauna and things related to our area.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any other questions or comments for Don? Otherwise, or do you want to do questions or comments all at the end after everyone is presented?
That was kind of my feeling, Laura, after seeing them all. And
Okay.
If everyone's going to stick around, if people got to take off, understand that also.
Could I ask, Laura, could I go next? Just I'm kind of short on time, so I probably will need to leave by 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I will get your work up on the screen and then I will share that for everyone here.
Thank you so much.
No problemo. All right. Are you seeing the screen?
I do.
Great. Take it away, Yulia.
Hello, my name is Yulia Bustinovic. I am, so I live in Maryland. Do I need to tell my address?
Yes, please. Yes.
So it's 4004 Beechwood Street in University Park, Maryland. I'm originally from Belarus, but now I live in the US, and here's my proposal for this project. After doing all the research, reading all the information that Laura provided about the surveys and just learning about the area, I decided to focus my designs, my proposal on flora and fauna of the area. And so this, I did the designs kind of side by side. I mean, side by side, it's both sides of one column. I didn't do the, like Don did all four, I didn't do the design that way, but so you can see all plants and all flowers are native to the area. They all can be seen there. So you can go look at all of them. I don't know, you can scroll maybe lower, not to read. This skinnier columns are, these are designs for the smaller ones. And I'm planning to have some elements coming up on this top horizontal part, more like black and white or just white elements, maybe some birds, some areas, smaller elements. So I decided to do the design kind of in a collage style, mixing black and white drawings together with realistic full color of elements and birds and animals. Just it makes composition more interesting. I like to mix black and white and color together. I think it brings diversity, brings just makes it more unique. Whimsical elements, full color, bright. Also, I was focusing on the color palette that was provided with yellow, red, and blue. So each composition is kind of focused around these colors. And I don't know. I guess that's it.
Yeah,
I
thank
don't
you.
know.
I have a question.
Yeah,
for
just
you,
I'd like
Yulia.
to answer any questions.
Sure. The question I have is, so you weren't considering doing the backside, is that correct for this?
You mean the background? I'm planning to leave it. Yeah. So as I said, the all designs just standing kind of by side, so it's two sides of a column each.
Okay, so it is both sides. Okay.
Yes.
I really like the use of black and white as contrasted with the color part, how you've woven them together. I think that's
Yeah,
successful.
thank you. Yeah, and I'm planning to leave the background, the concrete, not painted concrete.
Yeah.
So it also kind of will fit them into the structure.
And you're going to go up into the roof area? Or the above area?
You can see on the designs that there are elements kind of will come out, yes, on the roof area. It won't be fully painted, but some elements, some plants will come out
Great.
the horizontal area.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I should clarify that Yulia's site layout is a little bit unique compared to the other artists, just because the pillars that we're working with, so she has kind of a set of two that are right next to one another, and then her other three are a bit back further in the site. So they are for both large faces of the pillar, just they're separated a little bit.
Thank you.
No problem. And also, as she mentioned, when we met with, when all of us met initially for our kind of kickoff meeting, the selection committee wanted to move forward with 4 separate artists because we want diversity in this site. We want to have a variety of artists represented here. But there was also some concern of keeping it somewhat cohesive. So even though we want all 4 artists, we want all of these different voices present, by having kind of these elements to keep somewhat in line while still having voices and artistic styles not hindered. We shared out the Shipyard, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Design guide, which is kind of color schemes and a general vibe of what we anticipate the Shipyard Park to be, along with survey results that we took from the community as far as what they wanted to see at the Shipyard site. And a lot of what the community input has suggested so far is an interest in art that is whimsical, vibrant, and focuses on nature and the environment and those sustainability issues that we are facing. So that's kind of a guiding element for everyone today, as you kind of review other ones. So thank you very much, Julia.
Thank
If you need to leave, you certainly can. But we will happily have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, I can be here till 10.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Ernesto, would you like to go next?
Hi there, this is Hilary. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Hilary Marante. I'm Ernesto's wife and mural partner. He's actually trying to wrap up a mural, so he is not able to be here, but I'm going to go through his presentation if that's okay.
That is just fine. If you can share your address for the record, that would be fantastic.
Sure. It is 8980 Northwest 25th Court in Sunrise, Florida, 33322.
Thank you. You can take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you. Ernesto's design focuses on also local flora and fauna. It's nice how everyone's design really goes together, even though all the styles are distinct. So the front side of the pillars are going to have a black bear and a white-tailed deer. And the birds on the side are weaver birds. Ernesto paints them often, so they just kind of tie the mural together. And on the other side of the pillar, there's going to be a red fox and a Canadian lynx. The Canadian lynx we read is still sometimes found in Wisconsin, but the population used to be a lot higher before overhunting happened. So just kind of a nod to the wilderness past. And the shared pillar is going to have a ruby crown kinglet, which is also indigenous to the area. And then the back side of that pillar has a pipe running down it. So we're just planning on carrying the background over and adding organic elements and flora. And that's pretty much it.
I should also mention too that the side of the pipe, that's pretty much kind of the end of the road when it comes to the site. If you go any further, you start to get your feet wet. So
okay.
So it is kind of towards the very end of the site. But thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I will stop sharing for a second here. And then last but not least, we have Ms. Ikar.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Akar. I am an anonymous artist and my name means racism backwards. For this particular location, I decided to
Sorry
do
to
a
interrupt.
design.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you give us your address, please?
Oh, sorry about that. It's 934 Myrtle Avenue, Unit 12, Brooklyn, New York, 11206.
Thank you.
So For the Green Bay Shipyard, I decided to do a piece entitled Let's Play. And it is, it's a celebration of this gathering space, and it features the branding colors and fonts and geometrics arrangements, as well as some of the endangered species in the area, including the gray wolf and whooping crane. It also features the white-tailed deer in another column. The pattern in the design is inspired by the Menominee people. It serves as acknowledgement of the land in which the space exists. I decided to keep it very whimsical and playful and kind of make a nod to just the geometry in the space itself with these three. I have row 3, and looking east, it reads Shipyard Green Bay, to have like a sense of pride in location. And on the other side of that row, which is looking west, it says "Let's Play," and has the gray wolf in there as well. There's a little bit of like relief space, which you'll see in the layout, I think in the next slide. So there's a little bit of breathing room between all this color and like geometry that runs through the center of the space. And then for the shared row that we're doing, this one breaks up into like a lot of geometry and features the gray wolf on one side, and then on the other side has the deer, which you can see and kind of pulls the whole piece together. There's we did detail pattern. We're going to be doing like patterns throughout the mural, particularly on the top, and so we included a slide that shows some of like the detailed stenciling that shows the Thunderbird represents power, protection, and strength, and also like just really ties into a sense of pride of location, but also acknowledging the land that it sits on. And yes, that's my design for this location.
Thank you very much.
I love the typography in this one. It's really exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for the amazing presentations and for all of the work that you've put in, even before today, as far as submitting to the RFP and preparing these designs and meeting with me and putting up all of my emails that I send out. So thank you very much. Do any of you have any questions or comments or anything that you would like to ask any of these artists this morning before we close up the floor?
Okay, motion to close the floor.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Very impressive proposals, and took a lot of time. So thank you for coming and showing up today also.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, so from today's meeting, we really need you guys to be kind of giving this project the stamp of approval. That does not mean that it is complete green light, though. At this point, we still need it to go through council, and then from there, it does have to get approved through Wisconsin DOT, since this is their property. But this is just one of the many checkpoints along the way. So if there are no concerns or comments or any edits to be made to the designs, I think we can move. Oh, I see Chuck's hand up.
I was just wondering, what is the expected time frame for when we anticipate this to actually start?
Absolutely. A follow-up of this, we'll be sending the minutes of this meeting to the council meeting for August 30th. From there, I'll be giving DPW all of the information as far as council's approval, our approval here, and then I said a month just to be on the safe side as far as coordinating and receiving communication from Wisconsin DOT. And then during that time period also, we'll be working with the law department on finalizing artist agreements, preparing the site, getting our water and electricity and bathrooms and all of those things, power washing the site, getting that all prepared during September with an anticipated start of October. And then majority of our artists have said that they'll probably take about 2 weeks to work during October. And then kind of wrapping up because painting season wraps up pretty quickly as it gets colder.
Because right now the shipyard project is just about to start. And so with all the construction traffic going in and out, I know that most of these pillars are out of the way. So then, but then the entryway coming in and out, that with all the large equipment that they'll be bringing in to do the shipyard, I was just more concerned that of any potential conflicts that may occur with the construction of the shipyard site. At the same time, you know, like with the safety of the artists as they're working near the access way to the site, because some of those pillars are right up against the actual roadway. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yulia's pieces and Don's most likely will be the ones that are the closest to that entryway. I've already been given the contact with Sea Rice in that area because they have a lot of trucks moving in and out of there as well. And I also have Jennifer's information from your department because I believe she's leading that up. So absolutely coordinating between those two parties and making sure that artist schedules work with that construction and don't hinder it or endanger anyone. And then also just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and knowing that there will be people out there working in many ways.
I made the motion to approve
I just
the
have
concepts.
one question real quick, Kent, if you don't mind. You know, obviously, and I don't want to take this as a sign of like wanting to pause the process at all. Love it. Let's do it. However, with all of the construction going on that site, you'll obviously have a lot of dirt, dust being kicked up, flying around. Coal piles, obviously, there's no timeline for that to move anytime soon. That'll continue to create some pollution in that area. I'm just curious if we've talked at all about, and I say this without any, I'm not an artist, as you guys know. I don't know how this stuff gets cleaned or maintained. Have we had that conversation at all about how to kind of preserve the murals and you know, make sure that they're still looking good all the time from even, you know, from now and into the future?
Within the RFP, we requested artists to anticipate adding a protective coating, most likely like a mural shield or some other sacrificial layer with a protectant on top of it. Just knowing now that there is construction that will be happening as the timelines just kind of magically are lining up so nicely. But even before that, with the coal piles and everything else, that site is just very dirty in general. So in the RFP, we requested that artists anticipate planning for a protective coating on those murals. And when I say mural shield, that, and this is just an example, I mean, they don't have to go with this option, but it's a recommended one that we've used on previous projects. But mural shield, it's basically your kind of UV protectant layer and then kind of wax layer on top that can be power washed off, still protecting the piece underneath. And then you can reapply that wax layer following. But
Great.
I don't want
Thanks
to...
for your patience for teaching me something I didn't know.
Yeah.
And again, I just want to be clear, like one of the things, you know, at the shipyard, obviously this has been a project long time coming. It's seen its starts and stops and delays. And what I really like about the timing of the murals is that is like an immediate visual impact. And it kind of really shows, hey, that there's something going on this site. And so I'm actually really excited about the timeline. Just want to make sure that we had a way that, you know, they didn't get ruined because we kind of got ahead of ourselves. So that's awesome to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, and I also, this is just a little side note, but so we had 20, some of you might have forgotten that we have 21 pillars and our artists have presented 20 pillars. On the site layout, there is one extra special pink pillar. We are setting that one aside for signage, map layout of the site to provide a description once everything is complete, and a space to kind of highlight each of our artists throughout the site, because we had one extra pillar and it didn't divide out evenly.
Mhm.
All right. Last call for questions or anything else.
Should I make the motion again?
Make the motion.
Motion to accept the concepts as presented.
Seconded.
All those that approve?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Okay, motion moved.
Great job to stay at all this.
Thank all of you guys so much. I will definitely be getting in contact with you with next steps as we move forward. More on my plate at this point to get all of these next little site needs and things sorted out, but I will keep you in the loop as we move forward through these additional processes
Great.
and approvals.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to all the artists. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Thank
Gracias,
you.
Pablo.
Thank
Gracias.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right, we are ready for our next category, informational, coordinators report and project updates. Project updates that have been going on 2 weeks ago now. We installed our Adam Street poems, not Adam Street, they're on Adam Street, but we installed our sidewalk poems within Adam Street. There were a number of planters, actually no, planter/seating areas that were removed from Adam Street. So we made some lemonade out of some lemons and installed our poems on Adam Street. So if you have not taken a stroll down there, we have 6 of our poems out ready for anyone and everyone to take a peek at. In addition to that, many of you.
Laura,
Oh,
can I
sorry.
just ask a question about that item in particular? You know, obviously we have the sidewalk replacement program in the city, and we're replacing more and more sidewalks that are in need of that repair. You know, and of course, you know, to me, public art shouldn't have to be exclusively preserved for your downtown corridors or you know, high commercial areas. I'm just wondering if there's been any discussion or collaboration maybe with that sidewalk replacement program that could perhaps allow a homeowner to participate, you know, for a small increment upcharge, right? If you want to have a poem on your sidewalk in front of your house for X amount of dollars, you can do that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That has been a conversation that we've had in the past.
Oh,
good.
I think there's been some starts and stops along the way, but I think with the addition of these Adam Street poems, we've had one installed in James Park 2 years ago now, I believe. I think these proof of concept, I think that kind of can open the door again to re-explore that conversation, because that actually is what we had anticipated doing, is having these poems in neighborhoods and having that option available for residents to access. So
Great.
I absolutely can kick that conversation up again. Next on the list, many of you are already aware of Spark GGB. That effort is continuing to move forward, and I believe our timeline got extended and everything should be wrapping up end of October, correct? Alex, am I correct in that? I'm gonna say yes, I'm correct in that. End of October, Spark GGB is wrapping up, so we will be most likely sharing with the commission the outcome of all of that work that the consultants have been doing. In addition to that, another project that's kind of in the hopper and working its way through the process internally is TDS utility Artbox wraps. I believe Brian actually made the recommendation back at Parks Committee. They are getting 4 TDS utility boxes installed in parks, and we are looking at wrapping those boxes and potentially expanding to a few other boxes as well. So working with park staff right now on finalizing the project plan and what that all looks like, but that will probably be coming your way in either the September meeting or October meeting, which is similar to what we've assisted with Military Avenue with their box wraps. In addition to that, we have also had a number of arts requests for Arpa funds that were held during last week's special council meeting. Many of those have been referred to staff, so we will be rediscussing those at the September council meeting. Our requests that we submitted, we were requesting funds for annual grant program, as well as our rotating art program, but there's a number of other great opportunities that have been presented for utilizing those arts funds. And then lastly, we have the option to return to in-person meetings. Those would be held at 604 in City Hall, like we used to do way in the before times. But it would not be a hybrid meeting. That would be, it's kind of a, we get to do this or we get to do that. So I don't know if we'd like to bring that.
Laura, you might want to check on that because I consulted with Attorney Bungert regarding Finance Committee, which I chair. And she had told me that the ordinance does apply to committees as well, and that hybrid is a requirement. And so that's why we continue to meet virtually until Mike Koronic and IT can get the hybrid equipment installed.
Okay, because I knew council was switched to hybrid.
Because the chamber has the council chambers has the equip, but the committee rooms do not yet.
Yeah. Katie.
It sounds like this may be a moot point, but I much prefer meeting virtually. And thus far, the business that we conduct does not necessitate being in person. So especially as Brown County levels of COVID remain high, I'd like us to continue to meet virtually.
I'm in favor of that as well, but we can continue to follow up and see what happens with Mike Ronick and the IT setup with 604. But I agree. I think virtually we're still able to conduct our business. We share a lot of stuff through our screen, and just, I mean, today's example with all of our many artists coming from Florida and New York, I think being able to actually meet with them screen to screen rather than a phone interview, which is what we would have had to do in person. I think virtually this just suits us better at this time. So yeah, other than that, Cheryl, did I forget anything for staff updates?
No, I think you got it. And we've just been asking committees, we've been asking all of our committees their preferences on how they want to meet. I feel like the majority of them, Zoom works really well because it's more convenient, better attendance. So, but it's really up to the committee on how they want to do that. So I'm not hearing from this committee, I'm not hearing a, yay, let's go back to City Hall cry. So
I never had that opportunity. So this is all I know. Although I can't say I wouldn't mind just going doing this from my desk.
That's true. We're a little biased. We're already in City Hall, so.
If there isn't anything else,
I have nothing else for you guys this morning.
motion to adjourn.
Wait, Katie.
I think I maybe should have raised this from the floor, and so it could also be a private conversation with Laura, but since you gave me the floor, I wanted to put to this committee an interest in the city of Green Bay sponsoring artists in residence. And I can pull examples from some other municipalities of varying sizes. But I think we've done a great job of thinking about public art as art that lives in public, and is sort of monumental in scale and execution, from wrap boxes to murals. But I feel like there's some really interesting opportunities in terms of collaborating across institutions. For example, we could have an artist in residence at the Neville Archive, or for example, there are municipalities in Oregon that have had artists in residence who work with the municipal waste collection. So I think there are a lot of neat opportunities to use art to amplify whatever else is already great in our city. And so I just want to put that to you all as something to consider, thinking broadly about interdisciplinary collaborations. And then, is that something that would support our mission and support the work of the city? So something to chew on.
Absolutely. And I know Milwaukee actually just opened up a call for artists in residence to focus on reckless driving in the city and using art in a way to acknowledge that and bring attention and awareness to that community issue. I probably glossed over this when speaking about the ARPA requests, but there is actually a request on the table for an artist in residency that we're looking at taking part in. Brian, would you like to add anything to that or elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, right now, so I submitted the request on behalf of On Broadway. There is a building in our district that would be ideally suited for it, that would require a major redevelopment. So we haven't really, it's really been, most of our work up to this point has been focused on kind of what a redevelopment project looks like, while recognizing programming as the second half of that conversation. And so I've had preliminary conversations with Laura about what a collaborative partnership could look like. And it goes right to your point, Katie. You could have a residency with the city, with NeighborWorks, with the Neville, with On Broadway, with downtown. So number of programs, right, that we could identify and partner on that. But I also recognize that our organization, we're not exactly experts in running residencies, but we know how to redevelop a building. So if there's, and that's why the partnership, I think, is really important, so that we can bring that expertise to the table. We kind of understand the real estate piece, and if Laura and Public Arts Commission can understand the residency piece, I think it could be a really good marriage to figure out how to make a project like that successful in our community.
Brian, can I ask a follow-up question?
Mm-hmm.
When you say the building is uniquely suited for this, what do you mean?
So I'm trying to, the only reason I'm preserving my words is not to give away the building. So,
sure.
Because it's not under contract yet, but it has, let's say, ample space for living quarters, for studio space, and for gallery space.
So are you imagining this is something where someone comes into our community and lives in that building, that we
Yes.
would provide actual residents? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, as
Cool.
you know, a lot of projects kind of start there.
Mhm.
And then you, especially when you get a lot of really smart people at the table working together, you come up with a project that's infinitely better than what you initially imagined. And so, I would certainly argue that we're not immune to hopefully watching this project evolve as more people get involved.
Well, while I'm speaking with you all and making my wish list, I really would love to see affordable studio space in Green Bay. As far as in town to rent space for visual artists, the Premier does performing arts. It sounds like it's an open concept, noise fest. Well, respectfully, that's how it sounds to me. So I realize that's not necessarily something the city would want to invest in, but since we're talking about it.
Yeah, the private sector is actually taking that over. If you haven't heard, Steve Schneider, who owns the Bellin building, he had the third floor that I carved out, I believe it's 16 artist studios. Half of them are already reserved. And there's also an art gallery that will be part of that. So
Great.
I would encourage you to check that out if you haven't yet.
That was the Bellin building you said?
Bellin building, yep.
Okay, I'll look into it. Thanks.
Yeah, that was just announced.
Okay.
What is that space called, Brian?
I didn't see that a name was published with it, Kent.
That's the first I've heard.
Yeah, it came out in a recent Green Bay Press Gazette article that talked about Steve Schneider's investment in a couple of downtown properties.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, interesting.
If there's no further conversation, motion to adjourn,
So moved?
second,
Seconded.
all those that approve,
Aye.
Aye.
have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.